And we're back with a new video. First, I want to thank you all for watching my last two videos from this weekend. I know they're kind of goofy, but they're fun. Me traveling to dealerships, walking around with a camera. Let me just tell you, it is a challenge because cameras definitely change the dynamic of every conversation you're having with another human being. So yes, my camera angles might suck once in a while and stuff, but you get to be there. You get to hear the conversations. You get to be there in real life. There's not any editing. Like if there's anything that's going to hurt the salesperson, get them fired or something like that. I mean, I'm not looking to blow somebody out of their job and screw up their ability to feed their families. So I edit that kind of stuff. But for the most part, you're watching unedited, just me screwing around in dealerships. And it tends to get, at least to me, a little bit entertaining. So thank you all for watching those. And in the last video, or the one before the last one, I went to a Dodge dealership, and there were a gaggle of Hornets lined up all around each other on the dealership lot with add-ons. I think it was almost $5,000 in freaking add-ons on Hornets. Hornets, the cars that have been wrought with problems that were purported to have sold 14,000 pre-orders when they were launched, Tim Kuniskis said.
Some of you think we sold out. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of sold out. Because since 8 a.m. this morning, we received 14,000 orders.
And ultimately flopped horribly. But then Stellantis announces today, in my opinion, full-on BS, total BS words that they're using. Let me show you this. That they are postponing production of the 2026 Dodge Hornet due to tariffs. Anybody getting deja vu when they did the same thing with the Charger EV? Now, let me ask you all this. If these two cars were selling like hotcakes, if they were selling like crazy, if there was a demand for them, do you think tariffs would be an issue? Or do you think they'd figure out how to get by with billions of dollars in profit and maybe lose $1 billion of the $6 billion in profit or whatever it is they're making? And they would figure out how to get by on that. Maybe eat ramen noodles like the rest of us when things are tight. They're going to figure out how to get by on billions of dollars in profit and just a little bit less than that. So they would still be selling them because selling something generates all kinds of additional revenue throughout their company. So I call BS. They are not canceling or postponing this thing. They said the same thing about the Charger, that it was because of tariffs. And now they're saying the same thing about the Hornet, which is freaking hilarious. And while dealers are still out there, like I showed this weekend, with $5,000 in add-ons, and this is nothing new, it's been going on forever, because they can't even resist their own greed in the face of so much factual data and utter failing of an automobile. They still can't help themselves and go, well, let's put a markup on the window. Because that's what we do. Even though nobody wants this thing, let's go ahead and add $5,000 to it, despite the fact that Dodge is giving tons of incentives and 0% interest and all kinds of other crap. Let's go add add-ons to that thing because you know what? That's going to help it sell. This is utter stupidity. So now trying to feed us this, that it's due to tariffs. You just want to blame the administration. And I'm not here to make this political, but we know it's BS. Because look at these sales numbers. Look at these freaking sales numbers. So here's the deal. In the first half, 5,647, a 52% decrease compared to the same period in 2024, same period being the first half of the year. So that is significant. That means 10,000 or so sold, but let's look at the exact numbers. Here's the exact numbers on Good Car, Bad Car for these things. It shows you every single month. Now imagine this. You're an auto manufacturer and these factories build these cars. And even though they're Alfa Romeo Tonales, and you're rebadging these things, and this is what you've sold throughout the year. Now here's the annual numbers. So if you look at 2023, remember when they said 14,000 pre-orders?
We received 14,000 orders.
Well, a lot of people must have backed out because they sold 9,314, and I would venture to say that 2/3 of those weren't people that put in pre-orders, people that walked into the dealership under the influence of some level of alcohol or something rolled up in a small piece of paper that you light on fire. Smoke weed every day. And ended up leaving one of these things because I don't think anybody who bought one, or the very few people who bought one, walked out of there thinking they made the best decision they've ever made in their lifetime. So 9,000 sold, though. And then you've got 2024, 20,000. This is, by the way, when incentives started to come and discounts started to come. But then there was a stop sale on these things in the second half. So even with a stop sale, and they still had so much inventory that they were still able to sell 20,000 because they had so much backlogged inventory sitting on lots people did not want. It wasn't that they had a good year, but compared to this, they had a good year. This year, 2025, is looking like it's going to be the same as last year, despite all of the incentives, $179 a month with $3,600 down. Too much down for that car, by the way. You need to do 0% down, 24 months, and a 12,000-mile lease at $179 a month, and you might get them gone. But this still isn't enough. You're asking people buying an entry-level car to come up with almost $4,000, and while to them that's not a lot of money, to a lot of people it is, especially buying a little thing like this. So there's so many other options out there: employee pricing, $5,500 cash allowance, 0% interest. So despite having all this out there, that's the sales counts that they're able to achieve. So how many of you would agree that is why this thing is getting canceled? It's not getting postponed because it's selling so many cars, but the tariffs, man, they blew it for everybody. So now we're not going to get Hornets because, you know, this damn administration's hitting everybody with tariffs. It's ruining the world. People who want Hornets can't get them now. Freaking give me a break. So I went ahead and did a little search on Car Gurus, and Car Gurus certainly doesn't represent the entire, United States supply of Hornets, but it gives us a good feel. Right now, there's 2,613 that are showing up for sale. So that's not counting stuff on its way, stuff getting built, stuff, still showing up for supply, or stuff that just never made it to Car Gurus for whatever reason. 2,613, and there's another 1,000 or so of 1,033 used ones out there, which is crazy because they're pretty new cars. So people who got them and did not want them, but did drive them, 31,000 miles. Look at that, 24,000. I would venture to say that's still too much. So just like the Dodge Charger, dismal, abysmal sales, which led to them killing that thing. Every article out there trashes the Hornet. This is Car Driver's list of winners and losers for the year. And let me just show you something that is they even consider to be a loser, which sold a hell of a lot more. Let's see. And by the way, they call this a loser, the Mach-E, but the Mach-E with 13,000 sales in the first half. So compare that to Dodge with 5,000 sales. It makes this thing looks like the hottest thing on the market. And I'll tell you, Ford's doing just fine. They're selling more of those things than almost anything else. And I would venture to at least propose that here's their net income for the year. So they'd be okay if they kept selling them and just made less money with the tariffs. So we know that it's not the tariffs. But what I would like to make a point of here with this Hornet is, had they just listened to us all, and made this thing a competitor to the Mach-E, they had every single indicator and sign screaming out to them, launch this thing, rebadge the Denali, kind of like Ford rebadged a Mustang onto this weird looking SUV thing, rebadge the Denali, call this what they called it, the Hornet, make it an EV, make it under $30,000, $35,000 with the tax credits that were in existence at the time. They could have insured and insulated themselves from not being able to sell the V8s. They'd still be able to keep selling the V8s. They would have had a better sales year last year. They would have had to offer incentives to get prices down, everything else, but at least they would have had a product that people want to buy. And then when the administration changed, they would have been safe either way. But instead, they put the gas engine and a hybrid into the Hornet, and then they put the EV into the Dodge Charger. They should have reversed that around. They should have went full gas car, hell, even a hybrid. Nobody would have wanted that either, but a full gas engine in the Charger, and hell, the twin turbo i6 if they wanted to, and launched this thing as an EV. And you know what? If it was cheap, they could have sold them. Instead, they hit the market with these things over $40,000, almost $50,000 before they finally caught on in 2024 and started offering massive discounts and incentives to get them to move. And then they got so cheap that people said, what the hell? But then the article started to come out showing these things had tons of problems, electrical issues, everything else, which some say they've been resolved to this point. But I don't know about you. I ain't buying one. I'm not taking that chance. So I'd love to hear your opinion on this in the comments section below. Do you think it's because of the tariffs? No. It's because the damn thing ain't selling. It's because the EV, the Dodge Charger EV, RT, it's because nobody's buying it. Total sales, Scat Pack and everything else were abysmal. So this thing, even worse than almost, actually probably pretty equal to the failure of the Dodge Daytona EV. And it's not me hating on the cars. It's just showing empirical data, mathematical equations. Do the math. This thing is not getting postponed because of tariffs. It's just ridiculous. It's getting postponed because nobody wants it. So Dodge, save us all the agony of going back and forth and having to call you liars and call BS on what you're saying, and just cancel the thing once and for all. End it. End it, end the Hornet, or change it to an EV and then sell it alongside Ford's Mach-E. Compete with apples to apples. Don't try to come out with some, call it a gateway to muscle and put Power Shot in it and make it look like a baby Dodge Charger and think people are going to buy it. So with that, everybody, I'm done. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Some of you think we sold out. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of sold out. Because since 8 a.m. this morning, we received 14,000 orders. You truly represent a brotherhood that is embracing this expansion.